Good evening. As we say in Scottish Gaelic, Fesca. My name is Torkel, and I'm here to review a blind tasting of a sample given to me by the Whisky Man. Before we get on with that sample review, I'm going to give you a wee bit about myself and all that, just to explain my love of whiskey. So the name Torkel indicates I'm from the Hebrides. I'm actually from out at Hebrides and all that. I was born and raised for up to 30 years in the Isle of Lewis. I've also as well got very strong connections to the Isles of Raasay, the Isles of Skye, and the Isles of Harris. So I'm a proper full-on Hebridean lad. When it comes to single malt whiskey and all that, my preferences are the peated ones because it reminds me of being younger and all that and living in these islands. But even with that, though, I tend to like any sort of whiskey that I enjoy, as we all do. Um, I started to really start drink single malt whiskey properly about 8 years ago. So when I was in my 20s and all that, I was a bit of a party animal, like my Jack Daniel and Coke, Jim Beam and Coke, Wild Turkey and Coke, etc. The American bourbons and Coke. Not drinking it, but just down it, as a session type. So it's only when I hit my 30s I then started to really appreciate whiskey properly and not just the drink itself, but the actual the process how it's made and the history behind the whiskey and every distillery and all that. So I really started to get into single malt whiskey about 8 years ago when I moved away from islands and all that. I'm a member of a few whiskey clubs and all that, and I've done many blind tastings and all that. In fact, I've probably blind tasted. I've got notes in my bag there about definitely a few hundred, maybe close to 1,000, maybe even 1,000. I don't know. I haven't actually counted it yet. But I've definitely done a few hundreds blind tastings and all that. So yeah, so that's a wee bit about me. Let's get on with the review now. So this is actually the sample bottle that's been given. Just to show you guys that. So you see obviously it's blind taster, we don't know, but we only know its percentage is 43%. See the colour there and all that. I haven't poured in the glass yet, but it does look to be quite a pale colour. So it indicates maybe a bourbon cask potentially. So what do I have is I've obviously got my Glencairn glass to put whiskey in. I've got my glass of water to sort of have a wee drink to cleanse my palate. I've also got the jug of water as well with the scoosher thing to add water into as well to see how water impacts the flavour and all that. So let's get on with this then. So get this opened. Right, so open now. I should have probably done that before this actually. So here we go. Pouring it in. Now I always let the whiskey settle for about 5 minutes before I drink it. So let's come back in 5 minutes and see what it's like. So that's the half an hour, that's a 5 minutes up now. So I just do myself personally, it's not a thing I've ever been told to do, it's a thing, maybe I have, I just haven't realised it, but I've always, when I pour a whiskey out, I always give it 5 minutes for the liquid to settle. I guess it's like rowing a boat and chocolate waves and all that. When you kayaking, you want to sort of kayak when it's not so droppy. So you're waiting for the swell to come down before you start like paddling your kayaks. That's my sort of method to my madness when it comes to whiskey and all that. So I always just let the liquid settle in the glass before I actually start tasting it. And that's my thing. I always tell when it comes to whiskey and all that, I always tell people when they ask me about it, there's no really wrong answer with whiskey. You drink it how you want to drink it. And yeah, because obviously some people do get a bit picky about putting certain things in whiskey. I say that's what you want to drink it, that's fine. I'm not a judgmental person, but I do like drinking my whiskey a bit neat. Um, the only time I add water to my whiskey is in a case like this. It was a review, thought of a tasting. If it's a whiskey I've had before, I know what I'm tasting. Even with cask strength, I'll have it neat. It's very little time I'll put water into a whiskey if it's just like a social occasion. But if I'm doing a tasting like this, I do add the water droplets after I've tasted it a couple of times just to get a full round review and experience of the whiskey and all that because adding water to it can change the tasting profile. I can describe it like when you're having tea as well. So you're having tea for the first time, and you have when you have tea, and you have it without sugar, and then you add sugar, one sugar to or two sugar to it. The taste completely changes and all that. And I think it's very similar to whiskey as well. Water does have obviously a drop of water can have an impact in how the taste is and all that. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to this tasting. It says I love blind tastings. I think when you're getting told what you're tasting, straight away you've got a biased opinion of what you're tasting you expect to taste. So for example, Talisker, you know it's gonna be smoky or it's gonna be like a sort of like a Glenmorangie, you know, like a Glenmorangie, you know, it's gonna you know you get that sort of fruit notes. You don't know what you've been told you're gonna taste. It's a proper taste because it's what is on your palate. We've all got different palates as well and all that, just because I'll get notes from this that you won't and vice versa. So let's go on whiskey. The glass is settled. I've got my whiskey jug, I've got my scoosher as well to add water in once. Had a couple of sips. So see the colours of it there? Actually, but yeah, it's darker than it was before and all that. So that's maybe I'm guessing could be a wee bit of sherry cask as well as oak cask. So the legs in it as well. The legs going, swirl it around. Yeah. So not much yeah. That's quite so the legs in it. Well, yeah, we always know it's 43%, but yeah, it's quite. Give it another swirl so you get more legs from it because don't spill it though. It's a wee bit of yeah, but the legs are a bit faster there. So I always been told the legs are a bit fast appearing. It means there's a bit more punch to it. So yeah, let's give it a bit of punch to it. Let's get the nosing done now. Wee bit of water first though. Cleanse your palate. So here we go. Oh, it's a lovely nose that. Yeah, there's definitely sherry notes in that. I thought when it came out before I poured it out, I thought that was quite a pale colour, but now actually no, it's quite a dark colour. Yeah, I'm getting the sherry notes now. Yeah, quite. I'm getting very strong stewed fruit notes from that. I'm getting a slight bit of smoke from it. It might not be peat, it could be smoked wood, but yeah, it's a very strong nose. In fact, to be fair, even when I was talking to you and all that, I could smell a wee bit of the sort of like aroma coming from it as well and all that. So that was when the glass was a wee bit away from me. So yeah, that's definitely a lovely nose. Doesn't always mean you get a good whiskey though. Sometimes you have a great strong nose and then you taste it and think, oh, where did the taste go? Sometimes there's more flavour in the nose and the palate. So let's go find out. Again, cleanse my palate. Oh, God. And also before you drink as well, obviously we're having a dram. So what do we say? Slanchava, which for those who don't know what that means, it means cheers to good health. So to everyone out there who's watching, Slanchava. Okay. It's yeah, that's very okay. Mm. Yeah, again, sort of like that's definitely sherry cask. I mean, it's not no doubt about that. The fruit is so strong there, but not overpoweringly strong. It's a strong sense of like wood. like oak and all that. It's if it is peated, it's very slight, but it's in a way, but it's a very strong smoke. It's very woody oak to it and all that. It's a nice jam. And it's but it's I'm seeing that oakiness and all that, but it's quite smooth as well. And all that. It's got a very nice long finish. For me personally, I have to have a long finish in my whiskey because when I drink whiskey, it's like is this like you want to enjoy the whiskey and all that, and if it if the finish is not there, then it just feels like you're gonna have to you're just drinking it down that way and sort of thing because like you're trying to get that finish. You've got a finish to it, and that flavour keeps and it's still there right now. About what 30 seconds, maybe longer after I've tasted the liquid, maybe a minute. You really sort of like get that aroma still there. That's quite good for me because if it fades straight away it's just like it feels quite redundant because then you have to just keep pouring the bottle, keep drinking it, pouring the bottle, keep drinking it to get that flavour. Well, with whiskey, you want to sort of enjoy it and savour it. That was my first sip. I was kind of like, it's not vanilla notes. It's like buttery notes. I think a slight tinge of buttery notes. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's like I want to say custard. Yeah, I'm getting like them. Yeah, like it's very yeah. I'm getting a lot of strawberries and like a wee, like, very stewed fruit as well. I'm getting a hint of like a smooth custard coming through like as well. Like not on the finish, like when it hits your tongue and all that. But I mean the custard goes like within like a matter of moments. But then the stewed fruit and the yolks are still played. It's a wonderful. I think it is slightly peated. I think there's a slight smoke to that. Um. It's definitely if it is peated, it's definitely very light. It's not a heavy peat. It came over as more the fact that it's very woody and oaky and all that wood smoke. But yeah, but the barrel's quite like it's got like a bit of peat sort of smoke, like not a peat smoke, but like a smoky wood to it, and not the actual barley peated. Um, I've had two sips now. I can't. Another thing I actually want to, I personally want to have another one about the water because I really like that. Um, but I now have to add a bit of water to see. I don't want to drink all the liquid before I've tried water on it. So drop of water. So give that a swirl around. It's a nice colour to it as well. Yeah. The water, that one drop of water you saw, again, it's amazing how water can change the flavour. I'm still getting the stewed fruits, but it's nowhere near as prominent in the taste. I'm getting a bit more pepper now from that now. I mean, it's still there. It's very mild berry sort of flavours I'm getting now. It's a bit more pepper coming out. Um, it's still nice though with the water, but I prefer it without the water. The water definitely gives it more of a kick. I mean, that's 43%. That tastes stronger, but not in a bad way. That makes sense. It's definitely the legs. Give you an example how fast the legs came in the glass when you swirl it. It's gonna be full of flavor, and definitely that's full of flavor. That and even with the water sort of dilutes. I think a wee bit for me personally. I don't want to add any more water to that because I feel that will just completely like make it numb the flavors. Not like it's numb with the water, but it's a different liquid when you add that drop of water to it. It definitely takes away from the strong stewed berries, stewed fruit flavors. I'll try it again to see if I can get anything else from this whiskey. So again, I'm still getting that hit of custard though. That's even though it was very mild before the water, even with the water, it's still there. So It's definitely, yeah. I wasn't getting a lot of pepper though in the first without the water. So, but now the pepper's coming out and all that. So even though the water's diluted for me personally, again, it's just a personal opinion because with whiskey, we've all got a different tasting profile, palate. Definitely with the water, the stewed fruits may have been diluted, but the peppers really come out now. Um, so it'd be very interesting to see what people thought of that because that's, again, some people were around that water because it's that sort of like strong, the oak and the fruit. They may, whoa, a bit of water actually has a bit more, a different dimension to it. Um, but I wouldn't recommend putting a bit of water into because maybe it should be. Oh, why not? Just going to add another drop of water and see what that does. Oh, that could be a bad moment there. Right, so no water. Well, I will say as well is like when the water hits it, like I mean the nose is totally no, that's not totally, but the nose then has actually sort of diluted quite a bit. You can just tell how the water's diluted that. So let's see now. Yeah, I mean a second drop of water there. It's still a nice liquid. Well, you know what? Like that's unusual. You know what I was on with that customs before and all that. It was very little. I got more of that. It was more buttery notes, like a sort of uh, yeah, like a butter sort of notes there came through quite strong at the end of that finish. After the second drop of water, yeah. Over, so I'll finish this off now and then. Mm. Yeah, so overall, really like that whiskey. I love to know which one it was. I actually might, um, I would say, I see out of 10, very close to a 9, maybe an 8.5. Um, as I say, is partially for me, I like my smoke, and it's not smoky enough. So that's why I'm probably not giving it an actual 9. That's probably been, well, I'm not being harsh. That's what I like, but a lot of people probably score that quite highly. I believe it's got a lot of flavour to it. I say you got that strong nose there. You can still hit you straight away. You know that the fruit, the berries hit you straight away when you then taste it first time. And that it's like a strong sort of like a oak smoke, a wee bit of smoke oak to it, and the stew fruits coming very strong. And the finish it's a beautiful finish. So it's a long, beautiful finish. To that it just keeps going. And even now with the water, you can tell there in my throat like that. It's still going. So even with the water, the two drops of water, I'm still getting a nice finish. It's a very solid dram that I wouldn't even call it a winter dram. You get some of these drams like a good at winter time and some drams are good at summertime. That's a dram you can have quite comfortably even well, we are now in June. I don't know what the weather's like today outside and all that. It's Scotland. I'm in Inverness for those who wonder where I am. Scottish Highlands. So we're about I think it's 12 degrees Celsius. So it's just not really that warm to be fair. But no, I think that's a dram you could have on a summer's day, quite in a warm summer's day, quite comfortable and all that, even with the sort of like that oakiness to it as well. And yet it would still be quite nice on a winter's day as well, on a cold day. So yes, that's definitely an all year round type of dram you could have. Of me personally, anyway. Um. So yes, then and you got a wee wonderful hint of custard as well. And I was getting that as well when I had the water droplet halfway through that there, I said the nose then got diluted a wee bit and the stewed fruits was then a bit more like malberry sort of thing like that, like raspberry sort of thing. But a lot of pepper came out then, so a lot of like strong pepper then came out that we didn't have on the first. and the non-water sips, and that custard was still there again a wee bit, and then on the last, on the second add of the water, two drops of water, then um it was quite diluted. Well, not quite. That's a big exaggeration, but the flavors had then sort of been diluted a wee bit, but we then got that sort of like a whiff of like butter coming through in the finish there. Um, yeah, it's definitely a nice whiskey and all that. Like, again, I'm trying to. It's that it. I don't think it's peated. I think it's like smoke wood more, like the cask has got like a smokiness to it on the actual barley. I don't think it's from the barley that. But when I find it, I'll probably be embarrassed to find it is a peated whiskey. It's definitely got an element of smoke to it. Let's give it that strong. But I think it's more from the oak. It's very oaky, very woody, which I quite like that. Um, you can imagine that, but the sort of the campfire sort of thing. You know, you get the sort of like the branches burning from the wood fire and all that sort of thing when you go in camping, especially this time of year as well. That's why I'm saying you could actually have. It feels like you have that all year round. It's got a very strong. The stewed fruits are quite wanting to sort of flavour, but then you've got that really strong oak as well, like that, like the burning campfire sort of thing. So a really good mixture there. Actually, really enjoyed that. So yeah. So I would say, oh, out of 10, I'll give 8.5 out of 10. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 9 is because it's just, I love my peat and it's just not peated enough for me if it is peated at all. So I think I'm probably being a bit harsh there, but I only can mark it how I mark it. So 8 out of 5 out of 10. A very solid dram. A dram you can have all year round, as I said before, that mixture of the campfire wood and the sort of like the stewed fruit of sort of like winter time and all that. And yeah, and again, it's one of them ones that some people would prefer water because like to sort of make it up. But even though without the water, that it's a very smooth dram as well, very easy to drink. Um, yeah, so that's it. So I hope you have enjoyed this review, and I hope you benefit from this review as well and all that. So I'll be saying Gaelic, cheer and drasser. Cheers for now.